Hey, welcome to Kate Crafts. I'm Kate. Today I would like to share with you a recreation of a card I made recently. Let's get started. To kick things off, I've gone ahead and cut and colored everything that I'm going to need for this card today. I have got some Bristol Smooth cardstock that I have hot foiled all the clouds, or the cloud background I should say. And here I've got a bit of lined paper from, I believe it was the Sweater Weather pack. And I've cut them all out with the reveal wheel, die, and now I'm just cutting off the parts that I'm going to need. So for the lined paper, which is going to be like my ground, I am using some Lost Shadow just to kind of give it a little bit of interest and to darken it up a little around the edges because this was a little too white for my liking and it looked a little plain. So I'm just going to go around with my small brush here and just bring in a little bit so it's not so stark white. Now this isn't very dark and it's kind of subtle once it dries back a bit, and you'll see in a minute. So to kind of give it more of like a ground texture and asphalt? I'm not sure how you say that word properly. Is it ash or ass? Asphalt? Asphalt. Oop, I just swore. Sorry. Anyway, I'm doing a little bit of Distress Oxide in the black soot, watered it down with my brush, and did some speckling. And now I'm going to go in with some Tumbled Glass to my sky to give it a little bit of interest. I'll go around the edges here and kind of soften it out as I bring it in. And I want to make sure that I go around all of the edges just because they're like, the middle is kind of like a little window here and, you know, just around here. But I'm not going to go around the bottom because, I don't know, I just thought that it might not really jive well with the card, I guess. So I left out the bottom, and that way the ground kind of, I guess, sticks out a little bit better. You'll see in a minute here. So once I've set that stuff off the side, I'm going to take this gold FineTec Iridescent watercolor, and I'm just going to go ahead and splatter that just a little bit all over the place here. And that'll add a little bit of shimmer to my sky. Not that it really does anything or serves a point other than to be shimmery and speckly, and I like splatter. And I mean, I know the sky isn't realistic with splatter in it, but I don't care. I like it. So here I've got all the party hats from I think it was a freebie set that you got with purchase. I don't know if it was last year or this year. I can't remember. There's a happy birthday in it. I wanted the hats from it so the little critters can have like birthday hats and, you know, be on the Ferris wheel. And I think when I did this, I'd stamped and cut all my images and then I colored them in. And as I was putting this together, I realized that I cut out the fox with the cat dye and the cat dye with the fox dye. I think it was. So they kind of look a little off even when you look at them closely, but I don't think the person who's receiving this card is going to notice that, hey, she cut it out with the wrong dye. So we're just going to go with it. So I don't know. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I noticed it and it was kind of like, you know what? Oh well, too bad. I'm not going to cut and color them again because these are fiddly little pieces. So once that's all glued down, I'm going to set a brick on it and let it dry, and then it's time to assemble my card. Now off camera, I've gone ahead and cut out a panel with the window cut out and a panel without the window cut out because we're going to sandwich everything together. And because I want everything glued down quick and then everything to stay glued down, I put a strip of tape in the middle and then glue around the edges so the edges don't come up, and then I'll just line that up to the bottom of the base panel here and then add a little tape to the top part here, and then I'll add glue again around the edges and then we'll line everybody up. So that's going to be the top part of the card, or the top sandwich I should say. Now if you need a tutorial on how to actually do this properly, Lawn Fawn's got one over on their YouTube channel that can explain this a lot better than what I'm doing right now. I didn't put much mind into explaining the whole assembly, so if you're a little confused and you don't know how to do this, I recommend going over to Lawn Fawn and checking it out. So because we like to risk it all, we are going to stamp on the finished panel here with the happy birthday from all the party hat set. which is just a small stamp set. So I've taken the wheelie Ferris wheel and lined it up on my paper to kind of give me an eyeball of where I need to have that happy birthday. We'll stamp this out a few times, and then we'll go ahead and then we'll stamp out another sentiment. So I've gone ahead and taken some low-tack tape and just blocked off the edge there, so I don't get the whole wheelie great day sentiment. I just want to have a wheelie. And then here I'm just taking one of my banner dies. I think this might be a Spellbinder's die. I don't know. I put all my banner dies into one little pocket and I keep those on my desk because I find I use a lot of them, quite a bit. And this one I'm not going to cut all the way out. I'm going to partial die cut and then shift it over, and then that way I can have it of a custom length, if you will. So I'll take that off camera, and we've got ourselves a perfectly cut little have a wheelie banner die cut stamp, you know. So I've got the all the dots paper. This was a 12 by 12 piece from, I think this was actually from a Scrapbook and Cards Today sampler pack. I don't think I got this from Fawn direct. I think it was a monthly subscription that I'd gotten in this in, and I just haven't used it yet. And I thought the size of the pattern on the paper was perfect. I looked at the 6x6 pattern paper, but I found the pattern was a little bit too small. And that's the neat thing about the 12 by 12 versus the 6x6 is that the 6x6 pattern is scaled down to size, so it's not so bulky and you get more of the pattern. Whereas a 12 by 12 is got a bolder pattern, I guess. Bigger, bolder, you know what I mean. So all I'm doing here is I'm taking the small wheel that I've attached to the big wheel with a brad, and I'm just cutting down some of this foam tape that I got from the dollar store and going around the wheel. Careful not to go up around the big wheel because this little wheel is going to stick to the base of our card here as we're going to make the sandwich. And then that way the wheel on top can move freely with the brad. So it's, oh, you'll have to excuse the lawnmower. I'm sorry. The grass needed to be cut, and it needed to be cut now, apparently. So that's what's going on outside right now, currently, as I am doing the voiceover for this video. So all I'm doing here is, again, going around with my foam tape from the dollar store, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay clear of the larger wheel because I want to make sure that it can move freely once everything is sandwiched together. Again, if you're a little confused as to what I'm doing, I'll try to remember to leave the link to the reveal wheel video for Fawn, as they do a better job at explaining. And yeah. So that's all I'm doing here. And have you guys had to cut the grass quite a bit lately? I mean, it is the first week of May, and our front lawn seemed to have grown over the last 2 days. It like shot right up, and it was covered in dandelions for the bees, and finally all of our other neighbors started cutting their lawn, and it was kind of like, well, we might as well cut our lawn because we don't want to look like the unruly neighbors, if you know what I mean. You know, you gotta keep up a good appearance with the lawn sometimes. You can't let the dandelions overtake it. I mean, I know they're for the bees and everything, but they've got a lilac tree that's in full bloom right now, so I'm quite pleased about the lilac tree. I've got one in the front and then one in the back, and when you walk up the stairs to my front porch, all you smell is lilac, and it just makes me smile. So all I'm doing here is taking off the release paper on the back of the foam, and I am going to add just a smidge of glue on each of them. That way we got some extra double adhesive going on here. Even though this foam tape is sticky, we are going to err on the side of caution. So I'm just going to sandwich this all together, careful to line everybody up. And then I've got my whole mechanism contained, as you can see there. So next, we are going to need to put this on together. So we've got the Ferris wheel that we're going to glue onto the front with some sticky tape and some glue. And then we are going to line this right up Careful not to go up too high because you don't want the party hats to overpower the little reveal wheel window kind of thing. Let me make sure I got all the tape up there. So I just want it just barely underneath. That way it kind of looks a little more cohesive. And then we're going to take some glue, and then I'm just going to glue this down without any tape runner because I don't trust myself. And we're going to put this off to an angle just to give it a little bit of interest instead of going right on the top. Now, what we get to do is we're going to add some tape runner to the back, and then we're going to add some glue to the back, and then we're going to glue everything on top of our yellow paper here. Now, I thought about going with the dots, but then I thought, you know what, the stripes kind of make it look a little more cheery with the solid yellow to it. So that's why I chose this side instead of the dots. Now, I have got some Stella, and I got a new white gel pen. This is the Uni-ball Signo Broad white gel pen in a 1.0. And I don't know, the verdict's still out on it, or the jury's still out on it, I should say. I don't know if it's any better or any worse or what, because my what do you call them? My Sakura white jelly roll pens are over a year old. I don't know if it's just because they're old that they're kind of gunky and gross and they don't necessarily, you know, like write properly now. Maybe I need a new one. I don't know. So I was at Staples the other day and they got a display of pens, and I happened to see a white one in this brand, and I thought, you know what, why not? It's only a couple bucks. So I grabbed one, and it's so far it's okay. I don't mind it too much. I mean, it writes the same. It's slightly different, but it's alright. And here's my finished card. Aside from the card base, you can kind of see what I've got written on here. And this is what it looks like with all the different awesome, terrific, amazing, and fabulous. So if you've enjoyed today's content or found it helpful, please give this video a like. I also welcome you to subscribe, as I post weekly. Here's another video I think you might enjoy. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.